And I think for like the longest time, I was so bitter about it because I would always complain and say that like, oh my gosh, like my friends never do the things I do for them. And, they're not true friends, they're fake friends, but then it wasn't really until like recently that like I understood that their love language isn't the same as mine.
Hi everybody, welcome back. I am Kalina.
Finola.
And Tina.
Welcome back to our PS series where we have conversations with other people about their personal experiences in their lives. And today our special guest is Iris.
Yay!
So Iris, you can introduce yourself and share a fun fact and a hope and dream of yours that you have.
Okay, so obviously I'm Iris. I am 21 years old. I don't know if that's even important. A fun fact, I like to bake, and I like baking macaroons. Even if I'm not good at it, I like doing it.
Have you
Any
baked?
dreams?
Have you baked macarons lately?
I did a couple days ago, but I didn't bake a lot. It was just like baking is like it's a coping mechanism for me to de-stress.
Oh,
so
nice.
That's why I do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask any dreams or goals that you have.
Dreams and goals. I do want to be a mom. Other than that, I do really want to hopefully make it to Europe to study fashion designing. But that's a dream. So if it doesn't happen, it's okay.
That is like totally different from what you're like majoring in school.
Yeah, it's like totally opposite.
Wow.
Fashion? When were you into fashion? Like making fashion?
Yeah,
Making
like clothes,
clothes?
like learning how to sew, or like, I don't know. I think it's awesome, actually.
Girl, you can do that here.
Yeah. So you can like make your own brand.
Like I seriously was thinking about it, but I don't know. I figured I should just stick with what I'm doing now because I think that it's for a better cause. I feel like, I mean, not that like fashion isn't, but yeah.
You never know. Like it could be like another pathway of job in life that you probably go to one day.
Definitely, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why, like what got you into like fashion or would want to one day like?
Well, I mean, I think it started when I got to work, or when I started work at Ann Taylor. And then it wasn't really until then that like I learned about fabric and how everything is like cut and sewn, and then working there, like what's good quality, what's not good quality, you know what I mean? And then I don't know, like the little things you learn when you work in retail, especially for like a high end end brand like Ann Taylor. And so then since then, like every time I go shopping, it's like, that's not good quality, this is a horrible cut, you know what I mean? And so then and with that, like I spend a lot of money at Ann Taylor as well because they give you a really good discount. And so in my mind, I'm like, I could literally make this. Like, why do I have to spend so much money when I can make it at home?
Yeah.
And so since then, like it's always been like a thought at the back of my head. But then going through school too, like, you take classes like human geography, and then they're like, write this 10-page paper on whatever you want. It just has to be related to, I don't know, like people. And so then I dive into like fashion because it's like, it's a stretch, yes, because it's like, what does fashion have to do with geography? But then it's like, fashion and clothing in general is a huge consumption of people, right? And so when clothing is bought, especially at such like an excessive amount, like that clothing gets recycled, and like throughout the process of making clothes, right, like dyeing the clothes, like all those chemicals go into it, and that is actually not good for the environment. You know what I mean? And so then
Yeah.
it's just
for
like, I don't know,
sure.
it's just like a whole cycle. And so then yeah, and so then I would get my, feet dipped into the waters by researching about those things. And then it came to like a dream to go to Europe and study there and then make my own clothes and stuff. So
Wow.
I don't
That
know.
is pretty cool.
It's a dream, girl. I don't know. It might not even happen, like honestly, but
Have you tried though, like to like sew like your own,
I
I don't know,
have.
fit?
It's so hard.
It
It
is.
really is hard. I tried making a dress one time, and like, you know how you're supposed to like leave the arms like open so like you can actually squeeze or put your arm through the dress.
Mhm.
I accidentally sewed it, and so it was like literally became just like a one piece of cloth that was sewed together. I was like, I
It's
messed
like a
up. Like I
long
can't even get my
pillowcase
arms
now.
to this. It literally was so funny, but yeah, so it's hard.
Wow.
Well, I mean, if you make it, make sure you make curvy clothes for curvy people, because like jeans cannot fit over my hips, and like I refuse to buy a higher, like a bigger size, because that's not my size, but like, it just won't go over my hips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable.
But
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's just a dream. It's just a dream.
You never
That
know.
will come true. Hopefully.
I know my mom tried sewing dresses in the past, but I'm just like I can't. I don't know how I would do it. I can't do it.
It really is hard though. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I give people props.
Did you do like
Yeah.
sewing or like home ec in high school to help you like learn how to sew?
No, because
Girl.
we did in middle school, like you had to take FACS is what they called it. I don't know if that's what they call it now, but through that class I learned how to sew. Like I learned how to sew a button on and like make a pillowcase and stuff, but like that wasn't even enough to like go into fashion for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm. But I do know like some people who like I have some or I had one classmate who like was really into fashion and like now like they I guess not like having their own brand but like it's getting closer to there. But it's mainly like because she's Hmong, so like mainly like a lot of Hmong inspired clothing.
Mhm.
But like if you were to have your own brand, like what kind of like clothing would you like want to make?
Oof. I think it would probably be more like a European relaxed style. So a lot of like oversized things,
Mhm.
comfortable.
Mm.
Yeah. But like chic at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like where one person buys 3 sizes too large for them and that's like an oversized, but you're purposely making oversized clothes.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Mm.
Interesting.
Cool.
Wait, so this started like 2 years ago, because that's when you started working at Ann Taylor?
I think it's been 3 years since I've been at Ann Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I remember it was probably like my freshman year that I was like, wow, I should probably do it. I should probably change my major. But then
change it to
I was
fashion.
already I really was going to, but then I was already so deep into LED. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finish LED because I do have a passion to teach students. And I do have a passion for students too. I mean, and so
I feel like you can still like kind of do fashion on the side though. Well, I feel like
yeah,
that might be
definitely.
Yeah.
Major in education and minor in fashion.
It's just gonna be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yeah.
commitment. That's yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe you might have like the summertime break to like dive into your passion.
Honestly, like I literally
Nice.
was thinking about it, and I'm like, that is probably the only time I will probably have time to go into it.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
It is literally the only time you have.
That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
How many more years until you have your master's for your LED?
I only have 1 year, so that would be this upcoming year, hopefully.
Wow.
And then the next year you'll be able to teach.
Yes, yep. But yeah, it's been difficult because of like COVID too, and so I don't really know how like this upcoming year is gonna look like for me. Because I am supposed to already have been reached out to by a cooperating teacher like at this
Ooh.
time, but no one has reached out to me yet. And so
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, I'm not too worried because I'm trying to like be understanding that because of COVID, like obviously teachers don't know what's gonna happen this upcoming year.
Yeah,
And
for
so obviously
sure.
I don't want to like commit into something that might not even give me like the fullest experience of teaching. But it makes me worried because it's like I hope I don't get like laid off from the program because I actually need to finish this semester or this upcoming year to be able to
Yeah.
teach. And so I'm just kind of like I'm worried, but it's like I'm not worried, you know? I think
feel
I'm
like
only I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You finish what you're gonna say.
I think I'm only worried because like a ton of people have heard back from like teachers and I'm like one of the very last few who haven't yet. Yeah, that's it.
Do you have someone like a school, I don't know, supervisor or a professor to like talk to if like no one has reached out to you?
Yeah, so I've been reaching out to the coordinator who does like all the placements and stuff, but all she's like given me is just within time, and that's all she can really do. Because she can only do so much on her end, which is like
Yeah.
reaching out to like the principals at the schools, and then having the principals then relay the message to their teachers and stuff. But like, I don't think she has much control over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like when I did mines, I had people, some people they were reached out like earlier, probably like in August, like beginning of August or earlier than that. And I think some people were able to like go in and help the cooperating teacher earlier too. Whereas I didn't hear from my teacher until like the week before. And so like I didn't like help her with any like setting up or like have that experience of like how to like set up
Yeah.
or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's gonna be a weird year too, though, like with COVID and everything.
Yeah, I would assume that everything is going to be online. I don't know. It's weird times we're living in.
Yeah, yeah.
Not us. My school, our school, Kalina and I, our school is on campus. And I want it to be online.
You want it to be online?
Yeah, because like it's still COVID. Like, how are we gonna be 6 feet apart? Like, are we gonna sit one person here in this desk, one person here in this desk, or?
Yeah, they have like a list of what's gonna happen on campus. Maybe I'll send it to you later.
Yes, please. But
yeah, I know a lot of colleges are going to be on campus, so.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, speaking of COVID, how has your relationship with your family been since you're literally stuck home with them every day? You can't really go anywhere.
I don't know. I guess we're fine. I feel like everyone is just kind of doing their own thing. Like the boys are always downstairs doing their own things, and then Jolene and I, like we've had time to I said Jolene's name. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It's just Jolene.
Edit that out. Edit that out. My sister and I.
Yeah,
so my sister and I have had time to it's like spend a lot of time together, but she also like works too, and then I work, and then sometimes it's like we don't even see each other until like I don't know, like 2 days later. But it's just nice to have more time with her. Like we clean a lot together, like especially like with the kitchen and stuff. And so um we'll have time to catch up. And then like every time we eat a meal together, we always pretend that we're doing a mukbang. And so we'd be like, you guys, that's how bored we are. We would sit there and literally just like talk as if like we were in a YouTube channel or something.
Oh
I don't
my
know. It's weird.
gosh.
That's
But I
funny.
do enjoy those because it's so funny. But yeah, so I've gotten a lot of time to spend with her. I've gotten a lot of time to spend with my mom, and I've had a lot of time to be able to cook for my dad. And I think that's one thing I really appreciate over quarantine is just being able to cook for my dad and learning how to cook in general, you know. So yeah, it's been good. It's been relaxing. Um, yeah, and I think it's just good to see everyone home, you know.
Must be
Yeah.
nice. One of my brothers, like he has an internship, but like I never see him because he's always working and he's always out if he's not working. But yeah, oh, but that's so good. I like how you enjoy cooking for your dad.
Yeah.
So what about your relationships, like with your friends, or like, and like not even during quarantining, but like how have you, like what has your relationships with friends look like? Like have you lost any? Have you gained any? Or and like
Yeah.
how do you deal with that?
Um, I guess if you're talking quarantine overall, I think how do I say this? Like I haven't really lost any, but it's been difficult in ways to keep up with friendships because it's like you get into the comfortability of just staying home, doing your own thing, and then enjoying that time because you have time to do your own thing, and then you don't really have time to check up on people, if that makes sense. Like you literally have the time, but you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I guess it's been okay, I guess, with all my friendships. I mean, there's definitely some that have been a lot harder, especially for like the long distance friendships.
Mhm.
Um, again, because you have time, but then you don't make time, you know. But then for those who are in town, like it's been nice because I have had time to hang out with, you know, like you guys and um others who are in town. I think it's just tough because I don't want people to, or like my friends, or like you guys to feel like you guys have to come out if you guys don't want to because of like COVID and everything too. But in terms of like the in-state friends, like I feel like we've gotten a lot closer. You know, like we've had a lot of time to FaceTime like this, or um, like just meet up too. Um, and I think it's a lot easier for you guys because like we do ministry together, and so it's like we do
Mhm.
meet up to take that extra time to, you know, talk about ministry related things. And so for that I'm definitely thankful for. And I would say like our friendships have been the most um like it has grown a lot
Mm.
over this time of period, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about your relationships like before COVID? Like, because I know that you've not lost friends, but like you just like kind of just lost track of time and you just drifted apart.
Yeah.
Like what is, I don't know, like maybe advice or encouragement to those who are dealing with that of
With
like,
like losing friends.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think in general, I think it just comes to a point where like you understand that how do I say this? Like your friends will have things that happen in life that will eventually either bring you guys together or separate you guys. And at the end of the day, how I went about it is just like being mad or being bitter is not going to do anything about it. I think it just takes a certain like maturity level to understand that the season that they're in is not going to be the same season as you. And it's up to you to either be a part of it, even if it's not the same season, or even if you can't empathize or understand fully what they're going through. And granted, like, yes, you know, there are friendships where I wasn't walking the same season as some of my other friends, and that has and if I'm being truthful, like, it has allowed me to distance from them because of that. And a big part of it is just like, you know, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to like walk with them in that season. And I'm not saying that like purposefully like leave them, like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
But it's what you make it to be, you know what I mean? If you really do cherish those friendships, you will do your best to be there for them. And um of course, like, life happens, you know, people become busy, um and it's just an understanding of like, okay, like, I know that they're not in the same season. I know that they're not going through the same things as I am, and vice versa. And I think at the end of the day, like, you kind of just have to be okay with it. You know what I mean? And granted, you're not going to be friends with everyone. You know what I mean? There will
Yeah.
be some friends where you will click, like friends who you will not talk for like the longest time. But then when you guys are together, it's like nothing has changed. And then there will be friends who do long for your friendship, but because, you know, life happens, you know, and you just don't have time to tend to that friendship, like, those will, you know, eventually like fall apart, right? You know what I mean? And yeah, like, at the end of the day, it's just like, you have to be okay with it, and you have to I guess, like, just be mature about it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Have you ever like just like felt like you gave like so much into that friendship, like never like received like you don't feel like it's not like they're giving, like they're not meeting you halfway? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
definitely, like, all the time. For instance, like, there have been friends where, like, I would love, like, I love treating out. Like, if I can pay and I have the finances to pay, like, going out for coffee, like, I will definitely take it. But there has been times where, not that like I'm expecting you to pay for my next time, you know what I mean? But like, because you have built that kind of friendship, you would assume that, you know, other people will do the same and offer to do the same for you. And this is just an example, okay? Like, little things like that, I do find value in that, you know what I mean? And it affirms me that, like, I am loved, you know? And again, like, that's just like a love language, like being what, hospitable about it. I don't know if
yeah.
that's the right word, but and yeah, like, I would feel like I go such a long distance for them, but like, they can't even cross a little river for me, you know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
does suck,
Yeah.
but
For
at the
sure.
end of the day, like, I have to remind myself that not everyone has the same love language as I am, and I can't put that expectation on them, you know what I mean? um yeah, yeah. Guys, I'm sorry if this like makes no sense, please let me
No,
know.
no,
No,
it
Let
makes
me
yeah.
sense.
define it, okay?
We got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think for like the longest time, I was so bitter about it because I would always complain and say that, like, oh my gosh, like, my friends never do the things I do for them, and, you know, they're not true friends, they're fake friends, you know. But then it wasn't really until like recently that like I understood that their love language isn't the same as mine, you know, and that they will love me in a way that's different than how I love them. And yeah, yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
Love language. I think it's really important to like really try to understand people's love languages.
It's so
But
hard.
and I think sometimes too, like you can actually like notice like, oh, like because of like patterns in people, and you can
Yeah.
notice what their love language is.
Yeah. And it's so funny because when you hear love language, like you think, okay, it's only between like a intimate relationship, like with a boyfriend or like a girlfriend,
Mhm.
right? But it's like, no, like love languages are also rooted, or yeah, are also like rooted within like friendships, right? Like whether it's like sisterhood or I don't know, acquaintances, I don't know.
Mhm.
You know, like there is still love languages there, you know?
Yeah, sure. Have you ever in either like past or current friend groups, have you ever felt like moments where you feel like left out in that group of your friends?
Yeah, like all the time. All the time. But yeah, like I don't know. I I say that I don't really belong in a certain group.
Mhm.
People may beg to differ, but I don't have like a certain group of friends where I'm always with 24/7. Like I like to say that I'm actually friends with like everyone. You know, maybe not to like a deep level, but I would say that I do enjoy having multiple friendships that are outside of groups, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but just recently, like, yeah, there has been a couple of girls where I've built a really good like sisterhood with. And because of one event, like that one event was the event that brought us together. And
Mhm.
even then, like I still felt left out, right? Because it's like, you know, they would talk about things that I have no idea about. They would talk about people who I don't know, you know, and so I just kind of sit there and just listen and like nod my head. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
Yes, that's funny. Yes, I know that person. Yes, I totally understand.
Yeah, it's like trying to like Facebook stalk them, trying to see who they're talking about.
it really is. And then like but it's like I was never bitter about it because that was their that was their friendship. That was their um I guess their way of connecting, right? And so like who am I
Mhm.
to be like, no, like talk about things I know only, you know?
Mhm.
Um so yeah, I mean, I think it's normal to feel left out. Um but I think it's important to also voice it out that, you
Mhm.
know, how you guys are, I don't know, like going about things, they're making me feel left out, you know, or just being intentional about your
Yeah.
feelings. Like it sucks because it's like no one wants to do it. Like, you know, like you don't want to like ruin anything that you have. But I think if it continues on, like there does come a point where you do um where you are vulnerable, you know, and you do share
Mhm.
that, you know, this is what's hurting me. This is what's making me feel like I'm left out, you know. And I think for a long time, like it took me a while to understand that and be okay with being vulnerable. Because if I
Mhm.
don't express how I feel, then it's like I can't expect them to know how I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like with girls, that's like the like where everyone's too afraid to like share how they feel. They just want to like
Yes.
please each other, and so when it
Yes.
comes to confronting them and like telling them how you feel, it's just like no, I don't want to go there. Like I think
Yeah.
everyone's scared of that.
Yeah. And I think it's harder for girls because I think we think a lot and I think
Mhm.
like we like to overthink. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
so when we overthink, then it's like, oh, I think this is the reason why she's not talking to me, or I think this is the reason why she's giving me the cold shoulder, or you know. But it's like, no, just talk
Yeah.
about it. Just talk about it.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
think
like, nope, not today.
yes. And I think also like I think the response of like your friends too is what also scares girls to like, what if she like hates me forever or like doesn't understand me? And I
Right.
think it's, or like what if she doesn't forgive me if I made this mistake, and like it's
Yeah.
friends.
Friends.
But I think it is because you mentioned like having like multiple friend groups or friends. And I think that is like a really good thing to have.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That's the way to live.
it is though.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to have like multiple friend groups and like not just stick to like one group of friends forever. Because they're not gonna be your friends forever.
Yeah, right. I mean, granted, you'll have your like ride or dies. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
your definitely go tos, but in terms like a group, did you
Yeah.
know that posse is another name for like, oh, that's your clique?
Yeah.
I literally did not know that. And so when a friend of mine brought that up and was like, "Oh, that's your posse," I'm like, "What's a posse?"
You didn't know that?
Girl, you are late. This is like
I was
old news. And this is like an old
I
word too.
not
Yeah, it
know
is a
that.
pretty old word. And like I think entourage is another
What's
word.
a posse? A possum?
No, I'm like I was like, of course, in the context of how my friend who brought it up was talking about, like, it was like, oh, okay, like he met my clique, my friend group, but like, if he didn't use context, I wouldn't have known what that meant.
Oh my gosh.
funny.
Well, we knew.
Yeah.
Welcome
Yeah, well,
to the club.
that's all me.
You are now in the friend club.
Okay, well, I know what this is gonna get. I'm just gonna get fired for that one.
Oh
Okay,
my gosh.
but it is a pretty older word,
older.
so like
It's
not
so
really
funny.
used anymore. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
squad is more used and like cliques are more
Clique.
used now.
I remember you brought up ministries.
Mhm.
How how are you a part of ministries? Like, are you a leader or are you like a student, or yeah, like what's your position?
Um, so I work with the youth group at our home church, and for that I am a leader, uh, specifically for the juniors and seniors, high schooler, the girls for high school in high school. Um, but I mean, of course, like you're a leader to all the students. You know what I mean? And I am also a part of the worship ministry there. So yeah, I lead in worship. That's kind of like my roles, my parts. Yeah.
When did you get into leadership?
Um, as for like the particular role for youth, it wasn't maybe until 3 years ago. But um I feel like I was always in leadership roles. Like even if it's not youth leadership or youth ministry, like I was always with like the children's ministry, right? Like you're a teacher and then you help lead um like I don't know, like worship for the kids on Sundays, right? Like I consider that a leader role
Mhm.
or a leader position. Being a teacher for them, like that's a leader position. Um and then also like when we were younger, my dad had led worship for the kids, and so I would be put into that. And like I guess if you really think about it, like leadership, I was always in it at like such a young age. Like even if it's like, oh, you're just a kid, like yeah, I was a kid, but like because of those experiences and those roles, like they've literally like shaped me to be a leader, you know what I mean, because of the amounts of responsibilities, or being able to just like, I don't know, like walk with kids and walk with the youth, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and like lead in worship, you know.
Yeah,
So-
and I know that like even like you've been involved in many ministries, and in those ministries you were a student, but like the leaders that were with us, they would always tell us that like, oh, you're the leaders, like you need to set an example for these kids. Like, but I'm just a
Right.
student. How can I be a
No,
leader?
yeah, it's like, I'm serious though, and it's just like, wait, I'm a student, not a leader, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you know, we did live by, I mean, I hope we lived by example to the younger ones, you know what I mean. I'm not gonna claim anything, because everyone is open to their own like perception, right? I don't know. Yeah.
And like your opinion, because like since you had so much leadership roles growing up, like what do you think makes an effective leader?
Oh, such a good question, because I struggle with this myself. Because everyone is so different. You know what I mean? Like everyone, if we look at our leadership team, like everyone is so different. And so like my characteristics that they have, but my characteristics that I have will not be the same characteristics as they have. But I think definitely for one of them, it's definitely that they have to be above reproach. And they also have to be humbled, or like have humility, you know, because when you are in a leadership position, or just in general, like if you consider yourself a leader, like people are going to be coming up to you, you know, and they're going to be sharing vulnerable things with you. And like if it's just a one-way streak where me as a leader isn't vulnerable with them, then it's like, how are they to learn? How are they to like trust um, the person they're going to? I don't even know if that made sense to you guys, but let me think what I'm trying to say.
Like just
Yeah,
someone
so
who's like approachable and who is like
yes,
understanding and non-judging.
yes, yes, because it's like when you're approachable, then it means that other people are comfortable with you, right?
Mhm.
And so then they're more likely to approach you, because it's like, okay, like I see how this person carries themselves, like I trust them, you know. But then it's like, if you're not approachable, then it's like you'll never you know, you'll never have people who come to you, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, like when you see leaders, it's like, wow, they're intimidating because they're so perfect, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just
for sure.
I'm looking at my past or my youth times, and it's just like, no, like all my leaders are perfect, like I had to be perfect to approach them, you know. But it's
Mhm.
like, no, like we've totally like have the wrong view of it all, you know, because it's like leaders are also sinners, you know what I mean? And but it's up to the leaders to remind these students that they are broken people, and that yeah, there are things that they have done in their lives that they're not proud of, and that, you know, sharing that is okay as a leader, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
being open to that, so that it's like a reciprocative, you know, like relationship there, you know.
What is something that like you have struggled um in reference of like being a part of ministry or like having a leadership role?
I think the biggest struggle is probably working with other leaders. Because again, like I mentioned, like everyone is so different, and they bring such different gifts and different talents to the table, right? That's how we can function as a home ministry, right? But I think it's tough when you don't have the same ways of executing the ministry, right? Like if I have one way and I think it's, you know, it's more effective this way, but another person says, no, I think it's better this way, then it's like we butt heads, and then we don't come to a compromise, and it's just like, okay, whatever, do whatever you want, you know what I mean? But I think in terms of like the biggest struggle, I think it's that, and being okay with voicing out what you think, right? So that we can all talk about it together as a team and come to a point where it's like, okay, well, you know, let's do this then, and then let's compromise what you want and what these other idea and compromise these other ideas. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that itself has been the hardest. But I think if I'm talking about, well, of course, I'm talking about, you know, my ministries and my teams. I think another struggle is also like not feeling like a team, even if you are a team, because it's like I feel like some of us haven't really built that relationship. Like the level of relationship between the team. Some relationships within the team is definitely like, yes, like we are aligned. Like I know what you're going through. I know that these are your struggles. Like tell me and let me know how I can love you in these ways. But then there are some in the team where it's like, I don't even know like what you struggle with. I don't even know what you're going through right now. I don't even know what you're doing in life. Like
I don't even know your name.
Okay, that was kind of sad.
I'm sorry, who are you?
And so it's like, how can we function as a team if we don't even know our team? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there comes to a point where we have to trust in each other. We have to have that relationship in order to pour into others, like our students, right? That has also been a struggle. And I think, like, of course, like we're all just so busy too. Like, you know, there will be times when we get together and, you know, one or two people can't make it, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, like, you know, we have, or they have different gifts. Like everybody has different gifts, and that's how you function as a team, and that's what makes you a good team. And so it's like, yeah, so win lose, mostly win, but mostly
Mostly
lose.
win. It has to be a win. You're a team.
Yeah. Okay, it's mostly win. But yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
But speaking of gifts, what are your gifts? What do you
I don't even know. I don't even know.
like musically, artsy, or talking?
I'm really good at eating.
Good at eating? Girl, we all good at
good
that.
at eating and sleeping, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Is there such thing as like not being good at eating? Like is that a thing?
Maybe if like people don't finish their food, or like they don't eat. Yeah.
One bite of a pizza, I'm done.
Yeah, I was like, how
I finished.
dare you? The pizza deserves better.
But I think as to like gifts, I mean, I like to say I'm pretty creative when I want to be, you know, I like drawing, I like making things, like scrapbooking. I really do enjoy scrapbooking, but I haven't really done it in such a long time. But when I'm in the zone, it's just like, I'm just going, you know? I think teaching is definitely a gift of mine. Hence why I'm going to, you know, elementary education, because I think, I do think that that was something I was gifted with. I think that's kind of it.
Drums.
No. That's like a hobby. That's not a talent.
I guess.
I don't know. I just don't think I'm like talented. Like I look at other drummers and I'm just like they have rhythm. I really don't have rhythm, and I struggle. I struggle with rhythm,
So
y'all.
funny.
Like,
you can't compare yourself to others, Iris.
No, I'm not. But like, you know, when like that's their talent.
Yeah.
Though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's mine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would it be cool? Yeah, if I kept up with it, right? But
How long did you learn drums?
Oh, I don't even remember. I think I started when I was in 4th grade,
Wow.
5th grade, 4th
I
or
didn't know
5th
you did it
grade,
that
and
long.
and I stopped. I don't know, maybe like 7th,
So like 4
grade.
years.
I stopped taking lessons. I stopped taking lessons at either 7th or 8th grade, because I've already kind of like learned everything I needed to, and then from there on out, it was just more like improvise and feel the music. But again, I never felt the music.
I'm
I never
feeling
felt the
it.
music.
I just can't find a rhythm.
I really can't. Like, it was like the biggest struggle. Like, I kid you not, I still struggle to this day. Like leading in worship now, like singing, it's so hard for me to know when to come in.
Oh my gosh.
When did I start singing? And
Okay,
in my
now.
head, I'm like,
Okay, now.
guys, I'm not even
Yeah,
kidding
it's
you.
my
I
bad.
have no rhythm. Like, it's just not in my blood.
So funny.
Do you have like any other instruments that you've played over the years besides the drums and like singing?
Yeah, I played the clarinet, and I was actually pretty good at that. And the only reason why I was good at that was because I read notes, and so you knew when to come in.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Can't improvise at any note.
Oh, seriously, because they're so like specific and when you come in, so it's like, okay, I know when to come in because it's telling me when to come
Yeah.
in.
And also like the band director kind of like cues you to like come in
Yes.
too, like
And so
or like he gives you that signal like to come in, so you
You need to be
know.
louder. You need to be louder.
Yes.
yeah, so that I actually could do. Okay. But if I was to improvise, like, guys, don't count me out. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long did you do the clarinet for?
Oh my gosh, I did the clarinet from 6th grade to 11th grade.
Oh
Wow, so you did
That's a long time.
You did drums and clarinet for like 2 years, like together.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Wow. You talented or whatever.
My girl.
Dude, I think that was like about the same amount of years I played the flute too, because I think I started 6th grade up until like 11th grade.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's not fair.
Crazy. 11th, 12th
I
grade.
I did clarinet too in like the summer of after 5th grade, so going to 6th grade. I did that. And actually no. I did a clarinet for 5th grade and then that summer. And then going to middle school, since like 5th grade is elementary, I was like forced to take like a help reading class because my reading score was too low. And so I had to give up band to take a stupid reading test. And I was like, all right, reading class. I could have been a clarinet player. I could have been big. I could have been successful. I could have been in band. But no, they took that away from me. And now that they took, and ever since they made me go into like extra help classes for like reading and writing, I'm an English major.
Your paths could have gone differently.
I know. I could have been a clarinet player professionally.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, Finn, when you brought up flute, I just remember when I entered into 6th grade, I wanted to band. And so then before you even got into band, like, you had to figure out which instrument you wanted to play. And so I went in because we had to do like one-on-ones with the band teacher at that time. I wanted to actually do the flute, but he had me blow into the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And to make sure that you can blow and make the sound,
Uh-huh.
but like I couldn't, and he told me that it was because of the way my teeth was like grown in, because at that time I had like messed up teeth, and so because of the way they were formed, like the airway that I was trying to, like the airway that was coming out of my mouth was not hitting the mouthpiece, that little whole thing correctly, and so no sound came out. And I was so sad, and I was like, "How dare you!"
It is not my fault my teeth are crooked.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was really bummed out. Yeah,
And
but I
then
turned
you got braces.
and then I got braces, and now I can blow into
A flute. I have a flute if you want to practice. Finola's supposed to teach me too.
You just never got into it yet.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I still think you're talented.
you.
Very
You're
talented.
probably like the only person, T.
She can bake, musically talented, gonna be a
She can
teacher.
crochet / knit. She's
She likes to
ambitious.
scrapbook.
She's approachable.
Yeah.
Wants to be a designer, go to Europe.
Yes.
So many talents.
Wow, you guys are giving false narratives.
No, we're hyping you up, and you're supposed to receive hope from all of it. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I think that's all the time that we have. Thank you, Iris, for joining our series for episode 2. Yeah, we just want to thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on our social media links down below in the description box. Bye!